Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So smart policies mean a good return on investment, and the Inflation Reduction Act is made up of the necessary investments for a cleaner, healthier future that it's paying off for our country right now. Let's talk about the IRA's returns. Dr. G, the IRA became law less than 3 years ago. Could you talk about some of the law's successes when it comes down to investments and jobs?
Thank you for that question, Ranking Member Frost. The IRA was an investment in a historic investment in climate change that specifically made investments in improving American competitiveness in clean energy and creating jobs and in allowing America to better compete in jobs of the future. To date, the projects have, from the IRA on clean energy have created about 300,000 jobs. There are many more in the pipeline, but many of those are in jeopardy if the changes in the reconciliation bill go forward. These are projects that are happening all across America. As just one example, let me give you one down in Louisiana, in Iberia Parish, as an example of jobs created from the bill. First Solar is a solar panel manufacturing facility. First Solar said that their commitment was catalyzed by the Inflation Reduction Act and is expected to create about 700 new jobs down there.
Thank you. I assume unanimous consent to the record an NBC News article how the Inflation Reduction Act sparked a manufacturing and clean energy boom in the U.S.
Yeah, without objection.
Thank you. Smart policies create supply and demand, and new solar and wind power plants can be built and operating in under 2 years, while natural gas power plants can take twice as long, and coal can take about 4 times as long. Sometimes the critics of clean energy try to sidestep the positive effects of investments like those in the IRA, and then they'll grumble that the federal government is, quote, picking winners and losers, as if the federal government for generations haven't been giving massive subsidies to oil companies and polluters in this country. But it complete crickets from them then. Dr. G, how do the clean energy incentives of the Inflation Reduction Act compare to the subsidies currently enjoyed by the fossil fuel industry?
So first, let me just note that I agree with you that solar and wind are much faster at coming online. In fact, clean energy accounts for about 90% of new capacity being added right now. Solar and wind are deployed faster than all other types of energy combined, including hydroelectric, nuclear, coal, and gas power plants. Solar farms can be operational about 2 years compared to about 4 years for gas-powered power plants. I would remind everyone here too that fossil fuel companies also enjoy subsidies. They enjoy about $15 billion in tax breaks every year, and it's also a highly profitable industry. The 5 largest oil and gas companies made more than $100 billion in profits last year in 2024, and big oil also spends a lot to influence elections.
I really appreciate you bringing that up because we don't hear about that from my Republican colleagues. I also want to talk about the Inflation Reduction Act's effects on the national level to a personal level. Central Floridians love home solar and home energy storage, not only because it lowers the electric bill, but because it keeps us safe. How will people's daily lives and daily costs increase if we reverse the progress made in the IRA, Dr. G?
So reversing the IRA's investments in clean energy and the tax credits will increase costs for American families. American families will see higher electric bills because the United States is producing less energy. American families will also face higher gas bills. By 2035, gas prices will be about 25 to 37 cents higher, according to Rhodium Group. And the other effect for American families, too, is an environment that is less clean, water and air that are more polluted. And so these are investments not just in cheaper energy, but also a better climate.
I really appreciate you bringing this up. I mean, what we've heard and what we'll continue here in the basis of this hearing is to push back on a piece of legislation which is really delivered for working people, for this country, and pushing us to do what we need to do to have cleaner air, better communities, and actually bring back manufacturing in a way that makes sense. And you know, we hear these tired talking points from my Republican colleagues all the time, and we heard one too from Dr. Trish. I think it's laughable that we've heard this tired talking point that if the government does anything to help bring down pharmaceutical costs for seniors or for anyone, that pharmaceutical companies will stop, putting money into R&D and research and development. Not only does the CBO estimate on the Inflation Reduction Act push back on this, but Big Pharma pulled in about $600 billion in 2023. And so it doesn't sound just like a talking point, it sounds like a threat. I care more about what seniors in my district are paying for pharmaceutical drugs than what pharmaceutical executives are raking home. So thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I yield back.